All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome
Hi.
to another filler episode because Havoc Moon couldn't be done again because life is bad. We are going to do something a little special, though. This isn't just your average one shot, okay? This is unless proven otherwise by the events of the story, canon Aetheral Space Universe one
It's
shot.
canon until it's not.
It's canon until something happens that we have to say it can't be canon anymore. However, this isn't your grandma's Aetheral Space, okay? This isn't Jargon and Skipper and Ruth and them. This is
Who?
1,000 years before the current Aetheral Space story. Just 12 years after the Thousand Revolutions. All right, so before I get further into explaining the setting and what's going to be happening, I'm going to have everyone introduce their characters. And you guys can choose how much information you reveal. So if you want like your Aether and all that to be a surprise, that's fine with me. If you don't, whatever. So let's start with you, Tanhoney.
Boss, my name is Patrick Del Schwarzenegger. I'm a savvy envoy from the planet Milcon. I wish to make a fortune, and I have the abilities to make that happen, I think.
Absolutely. Guare.
Um, I am Sebastian. I'm the engineer on this ship vessel, whatever it is called. Um, I wishing to make a new future for myself now that all the horrible stuff from the past is hopefully over.
Nice. Aster. Or whoops, Orchid.
Who?
Sorry, I
Spoilers
was
I'm
looking at the
Patrick
list of the
Stummings.
names.
I'm Master Stummings. I'm a scientist. That's all you need to know.
All right, and Dune.
My name is Puddle. I am one of the most intelligent creations of my genetic overlord who I once overthrew. And now I search the galaxy looking for things to consume. For science.
You heard it here first, folks. So, our heroes are spacers, and if you, Tan, why don't you give the audience the definition of a spacer?
Well, this isn't a term I've made up like you seem to believe, but it's basically a generic term for people who live and work in space.
That's correct. And they are currently on a ship called the Revenue Stream. They have a captain, Captain Skipston. However, Skipston currently is out of action. They got messed up really bad in a fight and are currently locked up in a med pod.
Yes, he suffered a terrible accident.
Oh
I had no
no.
choice but to put him in a medical pod to recover.
Patrick's son? But they are in. They're currently in a government space that no longer exists in current Aetheral space, called the Great Chain. They're sort of a mercantile government that tries to get their fingers in as many business operations as possible across the universe. And it is at this point that you suddenly who would sort of be taking over amongst yourselves while Skipston is out.
I may be so bold, my friends.
Me? No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
of course. Never
Well, I
mind.
am the most intelligent on this ship.
I would be happy to serve as second in
What-
command or something
did
of
you
the
just say?
like.
Oh jeez.
Huddle claimed they were the smartest on the ship.
Yes.
Puddle, you're going to need a second in
The
command,
audacity.
no doubt.
A claim that may be challenged. Should anyone be daring enough to try.
Yes, should anyone be daring enough to stand against this dynamic duo?
All right. Well, since there seems to be some disparity between who's running things, you all receive a commission. Basically, you hear word on the planet Zipzom that there's some sort of special crystals being built right now. You don't know much about them other that they're supposed to be able to, in theory, amplify Aether. It seems to be some sort of experiment, but you're guessing that they're probably worth a lot of money if you can grab them.
Oh.
Oh, I do enjoy. Capital.
A crystal that can amplify Aether. With this, I may be able to finally realize my dream of eating a planet.
Oh, that's your dream, huh?
That is my ultimate
How did
goal.
I get here?
Yes, humans
Yeah,
and bugs
I'm doing the same.
and creations of science. I could consume those, no problem. Buildings, even. But a planet? Oh, that will be a feast worthy of Puddle.
Yes, and I'll be there to hold the bib for you, no doubt.
I like the cut of your jib.
So while Patrick
Remember
and
when he
Puddle talk about eating a planet, Sebastian and Aster, how are you guys feeling about this so far?
Well, it
you
seems
guys are
to
crazy.
be an interesting thing to study myself.
I mean, the crystal certainly is so interesting in us on their own. Like, it will be very, very helpful for my own well-being, having.
All right, fair enough. So you do know that there is one small complication with the planet Zipzom before you decide how you want to go about taking on this mission. Zipzom was once a part of the Great Chain, but recently one of the governments across the universe, the Supremacy, has been getting more aggressive lately and has actually recently taken the planet over only a few years ago. So it's just technically inside their space. And it's not far from where you are, but you might deal with some complications if you get caught or get yourselves into trouble. So how do you want to go about tackling
Some
this?
small-time military junta is of no threat to our canny vessel.
Any armed threat will simply be consumed.
All right, you guys just
I'm
making
sure
a
we can come to some sort of arrangement with the officials there. I find the concept of the bribe to be universal.
You guys certainly have your hopes up in this operation.
So, is the plan just to make a straight shot for Zebzom then? You guys don't want to pick anything up or try and construct any sort of infiltration? Do any research?
It is to my understanding that our ship is
Research.
well armed, is it not?
Of course, with only the finest of arms available under the circumstances we find ourselves in, of course.
Yeah,
Though a
you,
being such as myself should not make use of such crude weapons, especially
Of course
when I have one inside of me.
Oh, yes. As I understand, your whole body is a weapon trained to
Yes,
its
yes.
best, yes.
were you
You
saying
understand?
something as well, Aster, by the way?
Oh, well, no.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying something earlier. Sorry, continue, you
wrong.
two.
My modest proposal is that we meet with an official who would be able to provide us passage onto the planet and convince them using our most pleasing manners.
All right,
I
one
concur
moment.
with
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Dean?
I concur with this idea. I do think that we have enough resources to put together a, as you said, a conventional bribe, especially to the officials of the Great Chain.
So, about the bribe. So one, you mentioned you're well armed, so let me tell you what that entails. Basically, your ship has a small armory. You have a number of plasma pistols and rifles that can be switched to stun or kill, and you are in possession of a sort of like plasma sword. It's not a lightsaber quite, but it's sort of like a really hot like sort of mechanical sword that can like cut through things like butter, basically. And you also have one sniper rifle with 6 rounds of sniper ammunition.
Sword! Why don't I go out and get a stick and a rock as well for my sub-weapons? These things will never catch on. The gun is the future.
Take your pick of the litter. I will need no weapon.
However,
I'll
and
take some pistols.
the bad news is, in terms of the bribe, you guys actually had to spend a small fortune to get your captain get enough treatment that you could shove him in a medical pod. So you don't have a whole lot of money on you right now.
Well, if I have another modest proposal, these supremacist types, from what I understand, are very military focused. Could it not be that Weapons could be useful materials for bribes.
I'm sure they will have enough weapon already. Then.
Oh.
Well, it's to my understanding that a bribe can be as big as you want, but the delivery of it is another matter entirely. Of course, we can flaunt
Right.
money that we do not currently have at the moment, and they
We
shall
will
be.
have it in the future, of course.
After you steal from them.
Absolutely.
So a little bit of quick research, if you do so, reveals that these supremacy guys are pretty extreme. However, there is one fellow in particular. Actually, you know what? No. Yeah, there's one fellow in particular, Patrick, that seems like you might be able to strike something with him. His name is Captain Mustela, and he's sort of like a mid-ranking military sort of leadership position in the Supremacy, and he seems to be in charge of some sort of like patrol or policing force on the planet in question, Zipzom.
And what makes him so malleable?
Well, you understand that most supremacy, it seems like it's a bit of a meritocracy. There's a whole lot of like, strength, whoever kills whoever wins whatever. But Mustela seems to be sort of a scion of a noble family of sorts, born into wealth and luxury, and basically handed his position. And he seems like someone who's very attracted to things like wealth and luxury, and someone who doesn't seem quite so
Noble family.
Yes.
This is an easy one. They always have some relatives with unseemly habits who can capitalize on.
It's true. You could do some research into that if you would like. If you want to do that, I'm going to have you roll me a lasers. So you're going to need, since you're an envoy, I'll give you an extra d6. However, because your number is 2, you need to roll 2d6, and one of them needs to be a 1 or a 2.
I did it, baby.
All right, so you actually rolled a laser feelings, so you rolled your own number, which means you not only succeed, but you get to ask me a question, and I'll answer honestly. But let me give you your result first. Yeah. So just to clarify, you were looking into relatives that you could. What exactly?
I'm looking for blackmail material.
Okay, so you find out it's a bit of a scandal, but it seems that Mustela, there are rumors that the family has, heavily covered up, but you do tell that there is a UAP officer that Mustela has supposedly been e-dating. And if that were to get out, it could be an extreme faux pas for a noble family of the Supremacy to be cavorting with the enemy, so to speak.
It's a joke anyway. How can you be noble when you've existed for less than 12 years?
You want to talk about a joke? Let's talk about e-dating.
What's the E even stand for? Ectoplasm.
And because you got a laser feelings, you may ask me one question. There's a couple examples in the document you'll see under rolling the dice towards the bottom, but you can also ask me one that would fit the situation if you'd like.
So let me see an example here. Would this man respond favorably to the blackmail?
You get the feeling that Mustela, he's enjoying a lot of privileges because of what his family accomplished during the 1,000 Revolutions, but they are not a fan of him. You get the feeling that this blackmail might get his ass exiled, and if you had enough information to prove that you knew details of what's going on, that he would probably, almost certainly cave.
I don't need proof, I can just do cold reading.
You certainly could.
That's it. That's all I got.
So while our friend Patrick is doing some research, Aster and Sebastian, what are you guys working on? Is there anything you're trying to look into before you guys try and tackle this Aether Crystal heist? Is there anything you're concerned about that you would be working on at the moment?
Uh,
I mean,
I would
I think we should be
research about the planet itself.
All right, so you're going to be researching about the planet. And then what about you, Sebastian?
well, I guess we should be preparing itself, making sure that we have our weapons ready, that everything is correct, and hoping that nothing is too broken to
Absolutely.
work.
So, Aster, as a scientist, you can roll me 2d6 on lasers. You need to get a 4 or lower. All right, so
Holy shit.
you did get a laser feeling. So you also got 2 die succeed. So you did a very good job. And then you're allowed to ask me a question. So, first off, you find a little bit out about Zipsom. So Zipsom is fairly close to home. It's a planet people haven't lived on for quite a while. If you recall, Orchid home is basically Earth, but it's relatively like moderate climate, varied based on where you are on the planet. They seem to have the planet itself was originally split into 2 separate large governments. There was basically the government of the Great Chain that ran it, and then there was like a local autonomous government. However, since the Supremacy took over, it's pretty much everything is under the quote unquote special officer that's in charge of operations there. You also know that the planet is about 65% ocean to 35% land, and you know that their claim to fame and what their value held in the Great Chain was that they had large mines with deposits of like rare earth minerals that were helpful in building, things like spaceships, blasters, so on and so forth. So they were a bit of an economic convenience, so to speak. And then if you'd like, you can ask me as the GM a question from either the list on the sheet down towards the bottom of rolling the dice, or whatever you think would be relevant.
All right. I don't know how to phrase this question. Like how?
I went outside. Do you see anything?
Is that a lizard?
It's fake.
Oh, it's a fake lizard?
Yeah.
Oh, you got me. That was real. It's a stretchy lizard.
Yeah.
Alright, sweetie, can you go play with Oma and Opa? What?
You know the game with the little robot guy?
You can play that if you want. Up on the TV. Go get Opa and he can help you set it up. Sorry about that. What were you asking, Orca?
It was adorable.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how much like police/military presence there is on the planet, kind of.
So because they were recently taken over, it's heavier than you're used to, but not like the heavy. It's not heavy by the Supremacy standards, but for a group of 4 of you, it's pretty rough. There's probably about a fleet of 30 ships at the ready, but most are dormant. They're not like, actively out in space shooting everyone that comes towards the planet. There is sort of a ring set up around the planet, like a little station where you're supposed to check in. And if you don't check in, then things might get deployed. So you might want some sort of fake identification. However, if you could somehow cloak yourselves entering the planet, you could get past that. If you don't trigger, the security measures and the fleet doesn't come after you, there's a militia of about 500 soldiers on the planet, but they're mostly stationed at barracks or like operating, just watching over businesses. They're not like, patrolling the streets with guns ready to blast people down. They're just sort of making sure the citizens obey the will of the Supremacy and keep operations moving. So your main obstacle is going to be getting on the planet. But if you have a way to sneak past them or to convince them that you're not a threat, then you would be good to go.
All right.
All right, and then Guaire. Sebastian, you spent your time readying the armor. You made sure all the weapons were in working order, polished, everything was loaded fully. And as a result, the next time any one of you does a roll with weapons, each one of you'll get an extra dice for being prepared from this action.
Yeah.
All right. So, 4 of you, discuss. What's the plan for tackling this thing?
I did have a question. I did not get to roll and ask you a question.
All right, what's up, Dune? What would Puddle be working on?
Well, I'm glad you ask. I was simply observing pictures of various species on the internet to quench my hunger before battle. Anything from humans to frogs to rocks and trees. But,
To rock a species.
yes, all my favorite living creatures that will reside in my stomach during battle. Oh, how it hungers. But I do have a more
How are
important
you a scientist?
inquiry. My thirst for knowledge is greater than any of my thirsts for humans.
You mean
But
this guy's getting thirsty hunger
these
mixed up?
Yeah.
crystals that we are searching for, where will they be located on this planet of Zipzom?
All right, so I would assume that you're trying to like basically hack into their data and find this information. So that's gonna
Yeah,
be a. So that's gonna be a. I'm so sorry about that.
Okay.
That's people keep coming in.
Oh, that
That's
was processing info.
no. My dad came in and I had to. Sorry. So that's going to be a lasers roll. I'm not going to give you a scientist bonus because you're not a hacker. So roll me a d6 and you need to get a 5 or less. Okay. So
three.
the supremacy, you're surprised with how competent their setup is, but you're able to hack in just long enough to get the data you're looking for. It looks like the crystals are stored in one of Zipzom's main mines, not mimes, not clowns. Alpha 7. It's got a large
There's a
deposit
special
of
officer in mine.
maybe it is now. They've got you have a feeling if it's stored anywhere, it's probably there because it's underground. It's the most well guarded of the mines since it's like their strongest operation, and it would be sort of a central area around the civilization to utilize such crystals. So if you had to guess based on the data, that's almost certainly where they're being held.
Yes, although my underlings neglected to actually look for these crystals, I am glad that my superior scientific brain had the foresight.
Underlings.
Are you stepping to my claim for the commander of the ship? Scientist?
You should tread carefully.
Our captain may be incapacitated, but that does not mean you can talk to us this way.
I can talk to you any way that I choose. Would you prefer that I eat you instead?
I would advise against being eaten. I'm told it's terrible for the appetite.
Yes, well, not for
I would advise not
mine.
to read those are numbers. We are few as we are already.
I believe that we are ready to go to the planet Zipzom and claim these crystals for myself. I mean the crew.
Of course, you shall have them all to yourself once I acquire them.
My God, thought you guys were a merry band. This is just like
So villainous.
two insane people, and then two very
I'm not
quiet
insane.
people.
Vacuum.
I assure you, I'm as sane as you are.
All right. So your first obstacle is going to be that security checkpoint. How do you guys want to tackle that?
Yeah.
Can you
Well
describe
done,
the
then.
security checkpoint? Is it they're just going to ask for clearance codes or something of the like?
Basically, they're going to log your ship number, your details. They're going to put a tracker on it that will go offline after 1 week in case you try to do fuck shit on their planet. And they're going to basically ask for your identities. So if you go in cold, like trying to do it honest, there's almost no way you'll pull off the robbery. You're either going to want fake IDs, or you're going to want to fight your way through, or you're going to want to sneak through. I mean, you could do it the honest way, but you're basically screwing yourselves if you do that.
Being mercenaries, I'd assume we would have some predisposition to fake identities. Perhaps that we have clearance codes that the supremacy has not caught on to yet, or fake identification papers of the like.
The supremacy's new enough that you might actually be able to get away with that. I would say that would come down to a roll when the time comes, if that's the plan you want to go with.
Betting our plan on fate, I see. What say you, crew?
Well, I'm no final churchist, but a little faith has never steered me wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are going to go to the checkpoint and try and use your fake identities?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Keep in
And
mind,
if
they're still
things
gonna.
go
Sorry, go ahead.
things go sideways, I suppose we'll have to unleash the silver tongue.
Keep in mind doing that. They'll still have a tracker on your ship, and they'll have your ship's data. But with fake identities, if you can steal a different ship, then you would be able to get away
Yes,
on your way
I
out.
do like the sound of that.
All right.
Besides, I was never too much attached to this ship, anyways.
Can you not simply eat the tracker?
There's been
That's what I was thinking.
The ship will fall into pieces anyway.
Is it a physical object or
our
something else?
captain.
Oh, yes, the captain. Oh, yes, we don't want anything to happen to him.
No, surely not. I will assure you that in the event that we abandon ship, our captain will be very, very safe.
Don't worry, I put a reassuring hand on his shoulder. I'll make sure the captain
Don't
is
touch me.
taken care of. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overstep my bounds.
Captain Skipston, by the way, all you would know is that he is a good, kind man to his friends and a very cruel man to people who have money he wants. He has always been nothing but good to you guys, but he's definitely no saint.
Aren't we all?
All what, saints?
No, no saints.
True.
Aren't
The
we
only
all?
thing-
No saints.
An excellent jest.
You know, like he can say anything against us.
What'd you say, Guaire?
I mean, we could, after we do the thing, knocking off the planet, it's not like it's going to be too much of a nuisance.
Alright. So, you guys head to the security checkpoint. You dock the revenue stream in the associated place where you're led by the supremacy, and eventually, basically, this ring sort of got its own atmosphere. There's it's like a giant metal ring, and there's a big glass tubular structure around it that can be opened and closed, and there's a breathable atmosphere inside. So you park your ship in the dock, and you sort of walk along this place until you're led to a building. And inside, there are 2 armed guards carrying plasma rifles standing at the door. There's a couple of bored-looking people, I think DMV for this office, sort of sitting around waiting, filling out paperwork. And at the desk
DMV.
is a young woman with freckles, her hair tied back in a ponytail, wearing a very official red-looking uniform. And she looks up at you with sort of glazed eyes, and she goes, "Welcome to Zipsam. How can I help you?"
Hello. My name is Eustace Losh Ningenbergen. I'm here with my associates who I'll allow to name themselves. It's a small matter of us requiring access. Further ahead, we have business in the city.
She sort of nods, and she reaches out her hand as if to say, put the licenses there.
I take a hand in a handshake.
Oh?
Oh,
Say the line,
Excuse
say the technique line.
Can we make a gentleman's agreement, even though you are, of course, a lady?
And it's very subtle as he says that. So much so that no one else seems to notice other than your group who either would be familiar with this or would be sensitive enough to Aether to notice. A small yellow spark sort of zips around Patrick's eyes as he speaks.
I'd be extremely grateful if you allowed us through without incident and happens to place the tracker upon the wrong ship.
Alright, roll me a feelings. You need a 2 or higher to succeed. Alright. You do so. Well, you were only supposed to roll 1 dice, but I'll allow it. All of a sudden, her. And what was your
Just
ask
like this.
again?
Let us through without incident and place the tracker on the wrong ship.
You see sort of her eyes glow yellow as a skull tattoo forms on her hands. And she goes, "Right away, sir." And she instructs the guards to put a tracker on a ship that already has one. And by all means, you're able to go through quickly. The guards don't seem to be paying attention. They're sort of just looking for more obvious aggression. And without incident, you're able to get by.
well, that went well.
Yes. The subtle knife is often the most
You're
effective.
more useful than I thought.
Now I have
Useful, of course. I would never have some. Oh, it
You've
appears
been
that I am at a
doing
loss
some.
for words. My stomach is quite empty.
Perhaps you ate them.
So I have
It may seem that way. My second in command.
a question for
For
you,
now.
Patrick. When the hour ends, is the person aware that they've been manipulated?
Yes.
Perfect. That'll be fun. All right. Yeah, you guys are able to get in. So, I assume, are you just going to make a straight shot for the major city close to Alpha 7? Or are you going to try and go somewhere a little further away, a little more low-key, and maybe drive there, get there in a stealthier way?
Are we
we
on the
could-
planet surface yet? It was, to my understanding, we were on a orbital ring.
Yeah, you're about to be on the surface. I'm basically asking if you want to land near your target or if you want to do something else.
I think it would be
I
best.
will say that we land in our target, and I could use my, and when we are there in the ground, I could use my automaton creation to create some scouts to see how it is around there.
Perfect. I agree with the engineer.
All right, so you guys land your ship in the major city of Halcyon, and you dock the revenue stream at one of the ports. It's not tagged or anything, and you get out. And what material do you use to make your robots? Do you just do it straight out of the ship, or do you try to use something else that's already in the city? Describe it to
Okay,
me.
so in the city there are probably some parts or equipment that isn't used a lot, so we could use it of it, maybe.
All right, so you're going to use some parts from the center of the ship.
Yeah, parts that aren't actually really that important.
All right, so you guys watch as Sebastian puts a hand to some sort of scrap parts in the middle of the ship that have seen better days, and the parts slowly contort into small miniature little automatics, about 3 of them, and they look like cute little robots with blocky heads. And how are you sending them out? Like, what are you telling them to look for or where to go? Look straight for the mines? Are they scouting around the city? Are they looking for soldiers?
Okay, so we have, since we have city, I will say that you should be looking around the mines for any obvious things. The other one will try to look where the soldiers mainly are.
All right.
Engineer, I may have a suggestion. Would your automata be capable of creating a map of these mines?
They
Well,
could record
it's
basic data, but they wouldn't be able to make the map. They could put it on a chip, and then someone else could construct the map from the data. So,
Yes,
scientists,
that's a very
Puddler,
good idea.
Aster, but
Yeah, presumably the ones that are going to be sent to near the mines and near them could do that.
all right. And you're sending the third one where?
And the third one was scatting around looking where the soldiers mainly are.
An
Oh.
So that we
inquiry,
could-
my robot crafting friend. If we were to equip one of your little robots with, say, a plasma pistol that could potentially explode, could we not remotely set off detonations from a distance?
We could, but we still will. We should first know what things are, in my opinion.
Of course,
Before
just
before
so we know
are
what
looking.
just we know our capabilities.
All right. So, would anyone like to assist in the scouting, or are you just sending the robots?
I'm
If
not
any-
one for legwork, unfortunately. I get tired easily.
If anyone helps with the action, Guare will get an extra dice. However, if something goes wrong and things go bad, you will also suffer some of the consequences.
I think I am confident in my own intelligence enough to assist with this matter, though I am unsure how currently. Perhaps I could accompany these robots to the mines and take extra precaution where the mind of an organic will not transcend that of a machine, if you know what I mean.
All right. Sebastian, roll 2d6. And you're trying to get a laser, so I need you to get 2 or under.
Oh shit.
All right, so that's a failure. So you send your robots out to scout. So cutscene time, one of the robots, the one you sent into the city, is relatively able to find, some basic. All right, there's some soldiers patrolling. Here's some here, yada yada yada. Very basic stuff, but nothing extremely helpful. It's all stuff you probably could have guessed with common sense. However, the two robots and Puddle that accompany the mines, we see them searching together, and all of a sudden we see one of the robots. We see a pebble get tossed towards your group rather, and the pebble slowly starts to grow and grow until it's about the size of a thumb. And when I say pebble, I mean like a speck. And then it pops, and shrapnel spreads everywhere, spearing the two robots and catching you in the leg, Puddle. And as that happens, you see a man in a red uniform step out from the darkness, a soldier with a rifle on his back, and his eyes are crackling with this sort of teal energy as he goes, snooping, are we? And who might you be?
I should have to ask you the same question, but I already know the answer. For you are my next meal.
I'd like to see you try, he says as he prepares to engage you in combat. What do you do, Puddle?
I strengthen my body by taking my defensive position, and you can see the crackling of my aether around me as I lunge forward and prepare to articulate my teeth in a particular way on this man's body that he will be completely incapacitated when I sink them into him. I know all of his vital points immediately from my scientific study of all biological life forms.
Yeah, you can say that, but you're only getting one dice on this one, friend. You're going to roll me a 1d6 feelings, so you need to get a 5 or a 6.
No matter. A 2d6?
1d6.
Oh.
All right, so you lunge forward, teeth bared, as red aether crackles around you, and he goes, child's play, and he sort of steps behind you, and he lightly taps on your belt, on your waist, and the belt starts to inflate, and then it explodes, and immediately you feel a sharp pain in your hips as you buckle and get sent onto your knees, flying to the ground, not flying, but falling to the ground, as this intense pain racks your sides. And he takes his rifle and points it to the back of your head and says, perhaps now you'd be interested in telling me a little more about why you're here. And then it cuts back to our group back on the ship. What are you guys doing?
Do we know about the situation?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm going to sip my soft drink.
What did you
How
say,
much
Aster?
time has passed?
Probably
How much time
about
has passed since?
an hour.
Oh.
But-
Shouldn't they be back by now, guys?
Yeah, I think sending pudding was a bad idea.
As you say that, one of your robots comes back, Sebastian. However, the other two do not, and neither does Puddle.
Well, we only have one
Seems like
here.
this affected your
So she might have happened to the other two. Father, I suppose.
And the
Maybe the one has some useful information, regardless.
the little robot sort of it moves with its arms upwards as if like a pick me up motion.
Yeah.
Aw.
And you pick him up, and he goes, "Ee!" And then he spits out a little data chip from his mouth.
Oh. I see we see what the chip has, what information the chip has inside. So if
Sure.
has anything we can use.
So there is a basic layout of the city. However, it's all in machine code. It's something you would need to have Aster or Puddle decipher into a proper map. But beyond that, you get a very broad idea of where soldiers are stationed. And it's nothing you wouldn't have already guessed. Barracks, occasional patrols near businesses. You almost get the feeling as though the scout didn't really accomplish anything. But it did its best.
Oh,
And it at least lets you know that the two that went missing are indeed the two that went to the mines.
Yeah, at least we can know that the mines must be protected, at least, or or something happened
Right.
while in the way to there.
We should probably try to get to Puddle. As much as I hate
Indeed.
saying it.
Sure. So, you guys, the three of you, I assume, are making your way towards the mines.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you are, all of a sudden, you see some of their... So, around the city, in this major city, think kind of New York, but sci-fi, there's these, like, big electronic billboards that are updated in real time from the internet. And on several of them appear a very familiar face. The face of one Patrick from your crew. And it says, "Danger! Watch out for this man, deceitful criminal. Report to authorities immediately if you see him."
Yeah. Deceitful. Surely there must
You're
have been
not
some
wrong.
kind of mistake.
And as that
Yeah,
pops
then-
up,
yeah.
a few citizens around the city already start to look towards your group and speak in hushed whispers.
We should probably hurry up.
We should get a disguise.
Disguise wouldn't be the worst idea, but it would mean more time that Puddle's on his own.
We can get one as we walk. It's a simple matter. Why don't we simply have robots that double as masks?
What? Can you repeat that?
Robots that also work as masks.
That's what the point of the mask is.
At this point, just use a mask, a normal mask, not a robot. What takes time to produce?
I could melt your face with acid.
I don't want that.
Oh, really?
No, guys, no infighting. It's not like we will be safer if we lose one man. We will be safer if we lose another member.
As you kerfuffle amongst yourselves, one of the whispers you see is pulling over sort of a supremacy agent, and talking to them and looking towards your group.
Oh no.
You should probably pick a course of action fast before Darnell says that the soldier is coming after you.
Yeah.
Let's just let's walk faster.
That's...
I mean, it's up
Not
there.
the best idea. Not they were
Well
serious.
done.
hiding.
So they have all our faces. Am I right in saying that?
Nope, just yours.
Just mine. The usual suspect. Wait.
I mean, if you guys were less loyal, you could just ditch Patrick to his fate, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but,
up to you.
yeah, but I think we will be down on another person, and it's not like we are. It's not like we are overflowing with members.
Perhaps Patrick should realize how he's treated his friends in the future.
Surely you will stick by me. Yes. Help.
I've always been your most ardent supporter.
I may have said otherwise for vanity's sake, but you've always quite impressed me with your conduct and demeanor. I'm sure we have a bright future together if you'll only assist me in this matter.
Okay, yeah,
Also-
let's start running.
You guys are running?
Skedaddle.
Yeah.
All right, you begin quickly jogging towards the mines. Meanwhile, as you're sort of on your knees, your sides still racked with pain and Puddle, you hear the officer start to monologue a bit. He goes, I saw the crackle of aether within those two eyes of yours. Thankfully, our glorious government has been working on something that should suppress those pesky powers. And he pulls out sort of this black metallic kind of cable-looking thing. And he goes for your wrists. You have one more chance to try something before he's able to tie it around, unless you choose to comply. That is.
Oh, yes, something that will suppress Aether. I've read about this in the ancient texts of One Piece. Sea stone. I'm very familiar with the material. I say as I lunge my face forward and try to bite this man's wrist.
Okay, go for another 1d6 feelings.
Okay.
All right. Let me double check feelings. That's supposed to be over or... Oh, wait, your number's 5.
Yes,
Perfect.
it is.
You rolled a laser feelings. So you go and you're able to sink, like just before he can get it around, you whip your head around and sink your teeth into his wrist. And are you hardening it or softening it?
I soften it so that it's malleable enough to chew through, and I eat and I eat and I pull.
Oh God.
So basically, this guy goes for you with the wire, and you bite his wrist in such a way, and it turns into sort of this mushy, slurpy goop. And he goes, "What are you doing?" And you eat the wrist, part of the wrist, but you don't eat the hand itself with the metal because you get the feeling that if you did, you would fuck yourself over.
Yes, that would be very bad to ingest.
And the rest of the hand sort of falls to the ground. His left hand, that is, as he sort of reels in pain. And he goes, "Ugh, you degenerate bastard!" And his eyes sort of flare that teal color as he throws the cable at you, charging it with power, and he yells, "Breaking point!" And the wire starts to grow. Quick, what do you do?
Ugh. I drop to the ground. "Elastic feast," I shout, as I soften the ground beneath me, and using my superior teeth movement, I dig a hole with my mouth and lower myself into the caverns.
All right, I'll give you 2d6 feelings. You need a 5 or higher. I'm giving you an extra dice because he's sort of in a panic right now. All right, you rolled another good success. Oh, I also forgot to give you... I'll give you 2 questions after this, because I forgot to give you your last one. So you rolled a laser feelings again, and a big success. So your teeth hit the floor, and even faster than usual, you quickly turn it to goop and chew enough of a tunnel to get yourself underneath as you hear the sound of the cable exploding around the entrance of the tunnel. A few of the shrapnel get into the hole, but they just barely miss you as you go further and further down. Furthermore, you may ask 2 questions of me. There's some example questions in the book towards the bottom of the rolling the dice section, or you can ask me some of your own that you think would be relevant.
Yes, I do have a question. How close am I in proximity to these crystals?
You haven't seen them yet, but because you've already scouted a good bit of the mines, you can't imagine they're much further. You think they might be in sort of the central chamber where most of the minerals are hauled for transportation before they're shoved into these like transportation tubes, and that shouldn't be much further based on the scouting you already did with the robots before they were destroyed.
Perfect. And I do have a second question as well.
Of course.
The exterior security systems of this mine, how may I go about disabling them so that the rest of my crew may have safe passage?
Well, if you could get to the security terminal, you could shut down all the CCTVs. As for the soldiers, you would need to incapacitate them yourselves. You could kill them, eat them, knock them out, whatever. But the CCTVs would probably be the more major threat because there's way more of those around the mines, and you had to
It's called CCTV.
Sorry, they're called fucking.
No.
They're called. They're called.
No.
They're called.
No, I'm not even. That's funny.
They're called supremacy circuit TVs, so they're SCTVs.
CCV, man. Closed circuit videograph. What's a television?
Oh, sorry, CCVGs. My bad. You had to work really hard to avoid them, and you were traveling slowly with those robots. If your friends were in a hurry, they would easily get caught. So that would be the bigger thing. The security terminal, however, you already passed. You just didn't bother with because you didn't think you'd need it. So you'd have to go trek about a half hour's way back. I mean, maybe faster if you're eating through the literal floor. Maybe more like 15 minutes. But you'd have to trek back to get to that.
Yes, I think I'm going to eat through the top of the floor and pin down this security guard that I've destabilized.
Oh,
I have a question.
You're fighting the guy that that you bit the wrist off of, right?
Yes, I need information from him.
All right. Roll me a feelings. I'll give you another 2d6, so you need 5 or higher. All right, so you go to pin him out. You go to the surface, but you realize you've underestimated the soldier. You see, as you surface, you're next to one of the crushed scout robots you were with, and it's larger than you remember it being. And the officer sort of whips out a wicked smile and he shouts, "Breaking point!" And all of a sudden, it blasts. You duck your head down into the ground partway, but shrapnel embeds itself into your scalp and forehead, and you feel the blood oozing out of you. You can feel the pain. There's a loud ringing in your ears as you're disoriented, and it flashes back to our heroes. So by now, you've quickly jogged your way to the mines. Thankfully, no one's immediately been running after you, but you get the feeling it's going to be real hard to get back into town without a disguise. However, at the entrance to the mines, there are 4 Supremacy soldiers stationed all with blasters. They don't look like they're necessarily on high alert, but they're not exactly slacking off either. And you see one of them is checking their script, and you see your face on it, Patrick.
Oh dear, it's best I don't advance any further. I'll Puddle, we still haven't heard anything from. I'll attempt to locate him, or you, I'm not sure what you should do, but, try and, get as much intelligence as you can about the mine itself. That's like your confused tourists.
Alright, Aster, Sebastian, what do you guys do?
How did you say the soldiers were?
There were 4 soldiers, they're all equipped with blaster rifles. Think like a sci-fi assault rifle.
Yeah. And do you have any plans or ideas, Aster?
Well,
Well,
Anomalous, cut this part out of the video.
sorry.
I'm kidding. Anomalous doesn't edit this. That's okay. As you guys sort of ponder what to do, one of the soldiers, a young man, speaks up and he goes, "Hey, who are you two?" And it sort of catches the attention of the other 3. The one who was looking at the bounty on Patrick sort of lifts his head up, and they all sort of straighten their posture a bit as the one who spoke to you walks closer.
Oh, we were just looking around like we're tourists, you know. We have heard many great things about this place and the supremacy, and we wanted to see them ourselves. Isn't it true?
Is what true?
That this place is great. There are many things to see.
Yeah, this place is great. A great resource full of riches. It's not open to tourists. Get back to Halcyon if you want to browse around or whatever. But this place isn't open to the public.
yeah.
The only people allowed in here are Supremacy soldiers and miners. And then another guard speaks up and he clarifies, "Miners as in people who mine materials, not young individuals." And the other guard looks at him, like, rolling his eyes.
Well, I've heard that there was also research being done here.
Immediately, their faces darken, and they go, "What's your name?"
Alice.
"Alice, how did you hear about that?" And they start to circle around you.
Oh god. Oh, you know, it's just hearsay. I didn't
You hear
really
a plasma rifle cock.
believe it. Like, why would they be doing research in a mine like this, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Why would we be doing research in a mine like this?
Right.
Look, we want to travel, so we'll get going if that's okay.
Patrick, while these 4 guards are circling your 2 friends, what are you doing?
Well, I mentioned I was going to go look for Puddle, see what had become of Puddle.
So are you sneaking past them while your friends are surrounded into the mine?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. You do so. You leave your friends for dead and
I'm
sneak
not.
into
I
the
trust
mines.
my friends. I'm not even a combat guy. What am I going to fucking do? Coming like fucking Saul Goodman, like, why are you apprehending my clients?
Maybe. You're supposed to be the diplomacy guy.
Well, I'm wanted.
That's true. That was your fault, though, for using your power so willy-nilly.
Well, okay.
All right, so you two, as you're surrounded, sweating bullets, you watch as your friend
As I'm
casually...
sneaking past, I'm going to offer them some thumbs up of encouragement as I go.
He gives you thumbs up of encouragement. It does seem like he trusts you, at least. You just still... I mean, it's up to you how you feel about that, as he slips inside.
Alright. Oh.
Okay.
Well.
If that's all you have to say, then you best get back to the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
All right, you guys are going to leave, or are you going to fight, or is there anything else you're going to try to convince them?
I will say that we'll leave and I will say that we'll leave and we'll and regroup. I mean, with Alice. I mean.
Yeah. That's
I'm s-
not.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, with Aster.
All right, so you guys are just leaving?
Yeah.
All right. You make a temporary retreat for now. What's your plan while you retreat? Are you just giving up and going to the ship, or are you going to try and find another way in?
Okay, so in the ship we still have my one robot, right?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
In the ship we still had my one remaining robot, right?
Yes, you have one scout robot in the ship, and you could make more if you can find anything that would make good parts for an automatic. Your automatics can run partially on Aether. If you use actual mechanical and technological parts, they work much better. If you use other materials, they can run partially on Aether, but they're much less effective.
Yeah.
Because they're more like golems than robots.
Yeah. I will say that we still had a lot of weaponry that I was recently checked out, so maybe we could put it in the robot and use it for something. You
Sure.
know.
You want to go back to the ship and make like a gun mecha?
Yeah.
All right. Aster, are you cool with that, or do you want to try something else?
Yeah. Though
Alright.
I did have a question. Like, what does the entrance to this mine actually look like?
I
Like, is it-
imagine it looks like whatever the futuristic version of like a mine shaft with wooden beams looks like. Maybe some sort of like mechanical
Alright.
archway that like scans for like weapons or metal, like a metal detector of some sort. Unless you have a special badge that all these supremacy officers have. Otherwise, looks like a giant cave-ish thing. Like it's kind of in the side of a mountain, and it goes underground.
Alright. Alright. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with Sebastian's plan.
All right. So meanwhile, you slip inside, Patrick. However, one of the first things your keen eyes notice is that this place is filled with CCVGs, cameras all over the place. It's going to be very difficult to navigate. What do you do?
Is there any kind of mining gear around? Like any sort of like with like mining like strange minerals, so like hazard suits or anything I could maybe wear?
You do see a closet of some sort. It's locked, but you could try to bust it down or finagle the lock.
My past in the slum ways of Alicus 4 will come in handy. I bust out my trusty paperclip.
All right. Because you have your trusty paperclip, I'll give you an extra dice for prepared because I'm nice. But you're gonna need to roll me a 2d6 laser, so you need to get 2 or under.
Fucking legends.
He did it. Laser feelings. So you take your trusty paperclip, which has helped you so many times throughout the years, and you unlock the closet. And sure enough, there's a couple of like they're not really good as weapons, but they're like these sort of rifle shaped things attached to these large battery packs that fire lasers that carve out the materials to mine with. They're great at mining, and they can sort of be used as a weapon, but they're not really as great as like a proper blaster. But you could in a pinch. And to boot, there are also hazard suits that thankfully, blessedly cover your face. They're almost like hazmat suits as you know them, but a bit sleeker, and they've got like supremacy. Well, they don't have supremacy branding. They actually have branding for Halcyon Co., the company that was running this mine before the supremacy took over.
I'll take one of those hazard suits and one of those analog pistolas.
There are no analog pistols, but there are these like mining guns.
That's what I meant.
So you strap the large battery pack around your waist and into your back, and you take the sort of thing. The thing that goes with it slides onto the pack, so you can kind of sheath it and unequip as you will. And as you walk through the cameras, you will no longer arouse suspicion, so you can move freely throughout the mines.
And I have a question, don't I? Because I got a...
Yes, you do.
Which direction do I need to go to find my friend Puddle?
So you can smell the... So Puddle, you don't know if he knows this, but when he turns things to goop, there's sort of a smell that things that aren't usually supposed to be goop smells like when they become goop, like flesh. Like goopy flesh smells wonky, and you're catching a faint whiff of it in the sort of western direction of the mines.
I'll make my way there as casually as possible, like with a slight slouch as if my miner has had a long day and wants to get off his shift.
Absolutely. And as you do so, you eventually you see a scene. A one-armed supremacy officer, sort of with his missing a hand. However, you also see your friend half submerged in the ground, scalp and forehead full of shrapnel, bleeding heavily.
Whoa, what the hell's going on here? I say.
The supremacy officer whips around and he goes, "Stay back! Get back to your position! I've got this handled!" And for the briefest of moments, he's distracted if you want to try something.
Yes, perfect. My moment to strike. And I will lunge forward again with my somewhat inebriated body, and I will sink my teeth into this man's spine.
All right. I will give you 1 dice for normal, and I'll give you an extra dice because basically Patrick helped you. Roll me a 2d6 feelings. You need a 5 or higher.
Perfect.
Awesome. Laser feelings. So, the brief moment you distract him, Patrick, you watch horrifically as your friend sinks their teeth deep into the special officer's spine. He howls in pain, and you watch as his spine and his back and his whole body turns into slurpy goop as Puddle slurps them up like a delicious meal. And in about a minute,
I can hardly
they're
tell
gone.
which one's called Puddle.
The only thing left is the hand that was severed earlier on the ground.
Oh, what a delicious meal. Oh, my side.
I feel the need to tell you that I had a plan if you missed that. I was simply going to grab his fallen hand and have him help us.
Well, that's clever. I didn't even think of that. That's smart. Tan, you're smart.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you get to
You
ask
are
me
very
one
smart.
question as well, Puddle, because you rolled a laser feelings.
Yes, one question. This security room that we're about to penetrate, is there any codes or anything that would necessitate us taking a prisoner to help us get through and deactivate the system? Or shall we be able to do it with our own expertise and intellect?
You would need someone with proper clearances badge. So basically, the way this whole operation works, at least on this planet, you don't know about the supremacy as a whole. Don't want to ruin the canonicity of this. But basically, the supremacy officers around here have badges that both signify sort of their rank and name, but also act as sort of like encoded clearance, like fobs, kind of key fobs, if you've ever used those in real life. And based on the clearance of your badge, you can get into certain areas. So, like, every supremacy officer can get into the entrance without pinging the metal detector for weapons. Some let them into the security office. You would at least need a special officer's badge. You did defeat a special officer, however, in your delicious haste, you ate him uniform whole, so the badge has been consumed and melted already. But if you could find another one and kidnap them or kill them or steal their badge, then you could use that to get in. Alternatively, you could try and bust in through force, but that's much more likely to attract attention and potentially cause complications in the mine itself.
Yes, but damn it, I did eat that one badge. I couldn't help myself. It was just so delicious. However, Is the hand still laying around, the spare hand that I did not consume?
Yes.
I will pick it up, and I will take it with me. Come on, Patrick, we need to find some way to get into that security code if our other crew members are able to penetrate this mine, assuming that they have not perished already. I don't know their presence.
You've stored Special Officer's left hand in your inventory.
Perfect.
He doesn't seem that special to me.
Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, Aster and Sebastian. So, Sebastian, are you just taking a couple weapons, or are you going all in and using your whole armory to make like a giga mech for this operation?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So,
I'm gonna
go ahead. No, sorry. Continue.
yeah, I say exactly. Let's make the biggest mecha I possibly can.
All right. So you've prepared your armory, so you'll get a dice for that. You get a dice for being a scientist. You get a dice just as base, and if Aster is helping you, I will give you a fourth dice.
Yes.
D6 then.
Yes, it'll help.
All right. I need you to make a 4d6 lasers roll, Sebastian. So you need a 2 or lower.
Got 2.
All right, you got 2 2s, so not only good
2
success,
2s.
but a laser feelings. So you sort of, you reach out with your aether. This gray electricity sort of spreads across the entire armory. You get the feeling that you're doing something extremely hasty that's going to fuck you over in the long run as your operations as spacers. But for this mission, you feel like this could get the job done, and you sort of form this 6-foot tall mechanical Gundam-looking ass robot. Its eyes sort of light up and glow red, and it goes, "Ready to obey your commands, master!" And like a trillion guns sort of sprout out of its arms in comical fashion. What is my name? What is my purpose?
Your name, well, your name shall be Metatron.
Megatron. And why was I born in this world?
You were born to. We were born to.
You should
That's
maybe
what I'm
choose your
thinking.
words very carefully here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Give me purpose,
You were born
Father.
to help me with my current mission. That is, that is going to this planet's mine and collect all its crystals.
I will serve you faithfully, Father Progenitor. And he sort of kneels down and bows to you.
Oh.
You've definitely, you've got a guy. It's gonna attract attention when you leave the ship, but you get the feeling that this is quite a weapon you've made.
Yeah, it is.
Let's just say when they made the Second Amendment, they didn't think this guy would exist.
Okay.
Alright. So what's your plan now? You just going straight back to the mine and fucking ripping tearing, or?
For me, yeah, I would say that. Esther, do you have any other ideas?
Well, perhaps. All right. Are there any liquids on board that I could take with me?
There's a large tank of water that you guys use for drinking, showering, basic plumbing. It's enough to last about 2 weeks out in space right now. I would say you could get it refilled if you guys weren't currently, wanted and on a mission. But you could take a decent-sized portion of that without fucking yourselves over.
Yeah, like a portable amount to take with me.
I'll say you can find a spacesuit with oxygen canisters and then fill the canisters with water instead of oxygen if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Sure thing. And you want to turn it to acid right away?
No.
Okay. All right, so you've got sort of these 2 canisters filled with water strapped to your back and ready to go.
All right.
All right.
I'm ready to.
Okay, so I will say that we first send Megatrons as a vanguard, basically, while we are behind him. Behind him, and we are directly going to the mine.
So
Because like it or not, we're going to call a lot of attention.
you start going to the mine, and as you do, naturally, people are fearful of what you've created. And a supremacy soldier does come up and he goes, "Hey, halt! What is this unspecified weapon?" And Megatron looks to you and he goes, "Is this a hindrance to your mission, Father?"
Okay. What do we do now?
The soldier points the gun
Leave
at
it for
Megatron.
now. Leave it
What-
for now.
Wait, what are you telling him to do?
Leave it alone for now.
All right, you tell him to leave it alone, but the soldier doesn't let up. He points the gun at your creation and he goes, "You stop right there and identify yourselves and tell me what the hell this thing is."
Okay. I tell the story that you really wouldn't like to do that right now. If I were you.
And why's that? Are you a threat to the supremacy,
that's
sovereignty?
Listen here, soldier. We're just testing out some new technology for the supremacy security. You see.
Supremacy,
Yeah, if you did
security.
anything to it, you could get into a real big trouble. Don't you think?
Aster, I'm gonna give you a D6. I'm gonna give you an extra D6 because Sebastian's backing up your lie. Roll me 2d6 feelings. You need a 4 or a higher. You got it. You got a laser feelings. So you tell him that, and slowly he lowers the rifle and he goes, "Right. Well, don't cause too much trouble. You're freaking out the citizens." And he sort of gives you guys a nasty glare and walks off. And you get your laser feelings question as well.
Uh. Um.
Um.
Check, please.
All right. It's fine. We can keep moving.
I don't know. Yeah.
Megatron goes, "Father, I want to fulfill my purpose on my own."
That was something like Pinocchio.
All right, and you make tracks back towards the mine. Meanwhile, what are you doing, Puddle and Patrick?
I think we are walking through the mines, but I do have the man's hand stowed away in my pockets. And as I come to a corner, I will briefly look out and see if there are any supremacy guards in the near distance, and I sure hope there are.
So you see about half a dozen miners sort of zapping away at the rock, getting typical minerals, and there are 2 guards sort of like casually looking over, making sure they're not slacking off, both equipped with plasma rifles. Neither of them seem to be special officers, just standard soldiers.
Patrick, my friend, are you good at the act of impersonations?
Of course, I can do quite the impersonations.
Oh, perfect. I do hope that you've downloaded that poor man's voice into your brain before I slurped him up on the floor. Because...
Mr. Hands?
Yes, Mr. Hand's voice, I say as I reach into my pocket and I take out the goopy, bloody hand that's been severed at the wrist.
I went to search my memory to remember the line that the guy said to me so I can remember what he sounded like.
So you can do this. However, I'd like to remind you that he was a special officer and you're dressed up as a miner.
Don't worry about that part. I have a plan.
All right. So his voice was kind of like Muzazi before puberty.
What the fuck?
Higher, not like young, but like.
Can you just
higher
say
pitch.
something like what I heard, like, "Hey, who are you?"
I'm trying to remember what his voice was. Okay, I'm trying.
It
was sort of like
do a voice.
Breaking point. It was sort of like that.
I see. Hello, it's me, the special officer.
Oh, I would never be able to tell the difference. Can I eat you?
His fucking name. No, I don't want to be eaten. I'm a human being.
Perfect. Then I say as I take the hand and I kind of reach it around the corner and I start dangling it. Now, Patrick, now! Lure them in. Lure a guard over.
Men, it's time to get over here. Word
The
from
two-
above. The shift's ending early.
The two guards look to each other and they go, "Why aren't you working, maggot?"
I think you outrank them, Patrick.
Excuse me? Do you know who I am? Darnell just said, illustrate what I think we're going for. It's a Mrs. Nesbit thing from Toy Story. He's got the arm, and he's waving it around the corners. That's all they can see.
The hand?
Yes.
Who are you? They seem confused, as there are a large
don't
number of
rec-
special officers here.
You don't recognize your direct superior? Get over here!
Roll me.
And I'm gonna hold on to the arm and channel a bit of Aether through it, so it looks like it's crackling with Aether as he gets annoyed.
Ooh, okay. Roll me 3d6. 1 for standard, 1 because you're basically getting helped with the hand, and then 1 because you're using Aether prepared. 3d6. It's a 3d6 feeling, so you need to get over your number, which is a 2. So that should be pretty easy for you. Yeah. And you got a laser feelings and a super success. So you do so, and they go, "Right away, sir!" And they're in such a panic that they drop their rifles as they run over.
Perfect. And as they come close, I'm going to look over to Patrick and I'm going to go, "Patrick, when they come near, incapacitate one of them. I will deal with the other one, but make him watch."
Of course.
All right, so they come over. Oh, do you want to ask your laser feelings question, by the way, Patrick?
Oh, yes. From the brief interaction I had with the special officer, can I, garner any insights as to what his personality might have been like?
His personality was similar to Musashi. He had sort of an honorable thing, but you get the feeling that he was a little smug about it, like a Musashi Dragon mix.
Oh no.
Like he was all about honor and all that, but also he kind of thought he was above the people he was working with. So the two go, and immediately Puddle, the guy doesn't have a weapon, you're Puddle, you incapacitate him. I am not even going to make you roll, but Patrick, the other one, approaches you, and he goes, and he sees you standing there with the severed hand, and he goes, what the? What do you do?
I'm going to use all the speed I can, step in close, grab his hand, and say, "Gentleman's agreement, help us however you can."
So I'm going to have you roll a feelings. I'm going to give you 1d6 on this. You need to get 2 or higher. All right, you did so, and you got a laser feelings. So you grab his hand, and what was it you said again?
"Gentleman's agreement, help us however you can."
All right, you do so, and I'm going to say for the sake of sanity that, you can't ask him to kill himself. But
Yeah.
anything beyond that wouldn't immediately harm him. You can ask of him.
Patrick, we just need the security code, but if he does not choose to help us, perhaps this will,
He doesn't really have a choice, but...
Yeah, he sees it. Actually, do they instinctively know how the mark... are they compelled?
I think they do have an instinct. They can, if they didn't want to do it, if they were willing to die not to do it, they could, let
He goes,
themselves up.
"What have you done to me? How dare you?"
Search your feelings. I think you'll find all the information you need.
He searches his feelings and he goes, "Whoa, I'm gay."
No!
It feels really good to say out loud. Wait,
I'm
what?
happy for you, but search a little to the side.
What am I searching for?
It's in the gentleman's agreement. It's in my Aether ability. You'll know it when you see it.
the security codes, we need them.
I don't have the security codes. Only special officers
Well,
have
who
those
does?
badges. Any of the special officers, the one directly above me is Rupert.
Rupert, is that...
How would you describe Rupert's
I say it
personality? I'd say rubbing my temples. Okay, I'm getting a feeling I already know what he's going to say.
Rupert, well, he's a bit of a scientist. He's fascinated with some sort of crystals. I don't
Thank
know.
God it's a different guy.
Where is Rupert?
I don't know right now. He checks in on us twice a day. Once to tell us to go to lunch and once to tell us our shift's over.
What time is it closer to?
Lunch at the 15 minutes.
Lunch, isn't it? I say as I lunge my neck again forward. I crane it down towards the incapacitated soldier, and I soften his body and devour it in front of his friend.
No, please! I never loved anyone. And he melts into a puddle, and you eat him.
No, wait, it's the other guy. No, not the gay guy.
Yeah, there were two of them.
Oh, I thought you already killed that guy. Sorry. I assumed you had already slurped up the other guy in the time it took. My bad.
Yeah,
You slurped.
this was a
him.
method of keeping him, afraid of us.
You do so. His face turns pale. He goes, "What kind
Ow.
of monsters are you?"
If you don't want to be eaten, you're going to take us to Rupert right now.
I told you. I don't know where he is, but he'll be by soon.
He genuinely doesn't know. If he did know when he lied, he would have blown up by now.
What?
Fine.
Oh, I see you didn't search your feelings.
I knew I had to obey you. I didn't know lying would kill me. What? I just want to go home.
Not for the next hour. What's your name?
This is horrible.
What's your name?
Meanwhile,
It would really help me if you told me your name. If you don't want to tell me, I guess.
my name's Jerry.
Tell us your name.
Jerry,
I just want to be happy.
you will.
You're going to be very happy soon. Now get back to work. And if you have any sort of... Actually, Jerry, I'm assuming being a minor at this establishment, you have some way of contacting your superiors, do you not? Perhaps?
I'm not a minor, I'm a guard. I don't want to lie and get blown up.
Then. Who'd you contact if there's a security breach like there is right now?
Well, on our script, we can send a general call out to all superiors. I don't have the contact information for any specific one. Yeah,
Rupert,
basically.
I want Rupert.
I can't do that. I can only tag
What's
them all.
his gamer tag?
Look, if I do that and I say I just want Rupert, they're all gonna get really mad at me for adding them, and I'm gonna get yelled at, and they're gonna cut my pay.
We don't care. Do it anyways.
Ah!
I promise there'll be a reward for you.
Tell Rupert his family called.
He fucking.
It's his sister, Rupita.
As he starts to type, it flashes back to Sebastian and Aster and Megatron at the entrance. You see the four guards are there. They haven't quite spotted you yet. You're all huddled behind a bush, and Megatron comically towers above it, even kneeled over.
Oh.
I will say that we could. Wait, if they hadn't seen us, could we try to ambush them?
Yeah, you can ambush them. Megatron's like, "Father, please."
Yeah, Sean, do it.
He steps out in slow motion, starts giving a villain speech. He goes, "Why are men born into this world?" And the other four go, "Freeze! Put your hands up!" And they all point their guns at him. And he goes, "Do we not all serve a grander purpose?" And they begin to open fire as the plasma, bing, 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 plinks off of the metal plate. And he goes, "Only the strong who can fulfill what they were born to do deserve a place in this universe." And you see the guns unfurl from his arms as he just unleashes on these dudes, pumping them full of burning holes until they're nothing but a pile of ash and dust. And he goes, "Oh, thank you, God, for making mine so clear."
Well, that was easy.
What did you mean by this?
"Father, please, tell me it's not over yet. Let me fulfill my purpose more."
Yeah, there will definitely be more cards ahead.
"Oh, sweet revelation." And the way is opened. However, there was loud sounds of plasma fire, and you can already hear shouting from within.
Yeah.
Meanwhile... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, nothing. Continue.
You very distantly hear pew, 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 on your end, Puddle and Patrick emanating from the mines, and the guard goes, "What was that?"
Don't worry about it. Just call Rupert down. We need him to get access to the crystals.
Okay, he does a little thing, and he goes, "All right, I told Rupert he needs to come down here. He'll probably be here as soon as he can."
Oh, good. And while we're waiting, what is your name?
"I already told you, it's Jerry. Why don't you listen?
Tell
Why
me
does no one
again.
ever
What
listen
is
to
your
me?
name?
Jerry!"
Jerry. I do enjoy it. Now, Jerry, how close would you say we are to the central chamber of this mine?
Oh, can't be more than a kilometer or two, I guess. We're pretty close.
Kilometer or two.
Are you
How
certain?
well guarded is it?
Well, there's at least 5 special officers on it, including Rupert, usually.
Good, okay. Good to know, Jerry. And we shall wait for Rupert. Unless Patrick has any questions for you.
I don't think I do. Unless, of course, you've been concealing anything from us.
Considering what?
You've been concealing anything from us.
Concealing anything? Do you have anything specific in mind?
No, I'm just... Well, do you?
Well, I guess... In 2nd grade, I told my friend Tom that his dog ate his toy, but actually I stole it. And then I broke it.
Why?
I just really wanted... I felt so bad about it. And they put down his dog. Oh my god. It was
And you
my
never
fault.
said anything.
I couldn't! How could I?
You're scum,
Because you were a human. How could you not say anything?
Wait, what are you?
Well,
What are you then,
I
if you're
spit
not
on
a
the floor.
human?
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor too, damn it! I fought in 1,000 revolutions! I paid my due! Have you ever gone up
Jerry,
against a
do I
gene
look
tyrant?
Human? Do I look human to you?
Kind of. I don't know, you look like a gene tyrant went to town on you.
I say as I lull out my tongue, which like stretches down to my knees.
Oh god, who fucked you up?
No, he only fucked himself up.
Indeed, I assume.
Yeah, it was brutal.
All of a sudden, you see Rupert come through, but not alone. There are 4 other special officers and about 2 dozen soldiers. And thankfully, they don't seem to notice you. They seem to be rushing towards the entrance of the mines.
What
You hear, go, 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 intruder, high alert! All officers now! And Jerry goes, oh shit, I think I have to go with them. Can I go, please?
Jerry, call Rupert over right now. Tell him it's an emergency.
Rupert! This is, I need you, it's an emergency. He goes, if you don't get your ass to the front of the mines, I'm gonna blow your brains out. He goes, ah!
Continue it, Rupert.
Continue what?
No.
Oh, Jerry, continue calling him over. I don't care. He can't shoot you from this distance.
Rupert, I need you! And all of a sudden, you hear him say, hang on, I have to think of an Aether technique.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You hear him say, Keratin cannon! And a fingernail shoots forward with great force and embeds itself in Jerry's head, and like the whole top part of his head slides off as well as his brain, and he falls backwards to the ground dead.
Squat to the ground and start picking at the brain.
You can't say no. You can't say Darnell buried the gay. What the fuck was supposed to happen? Dune buried your gay. Dune buried your gay. This was Dune's fault. Edit that message. Wrong D name. I tried to make Jerry live. He obeyed all the orders. What was he supposed to do? You did this, Patrick. You killed this man.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
All right. But yeah, the rest of them continue running. He doesn't even turn around. You can tell this guy's pretty strong.
Damn it. Patrick, I guess we are 2 kilometers from the central chamber, and without those guards guarding it, then I suppose we can just walk right in, can we? Whatever's at the entrance. And I do pray it is our crewmates. It appears to have them distracted completely.
One second. I'm going to pause recording real quick. All right, we are back. Sorry about that. Yes. So, you guys going after the crystals?
Yes, we could waltz right into the central containment chamber.
Oh, okay, SCP guy.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
Getting some real SCP vibes off this one.
So you two make your way towards the central chamber. Meanwhile, before you can really get too far, before you can even really enter the mine, you hear people coming. Sebastian, Esther, and Megatron, and there are about maybe 36 armed guards and 5 or 6 special officers, all sort of coming out of the entrance of the mines.
Oh,
Scary.
Oh.
Wait, is it? I'm sorry. Is this in front of us or?
No, in front of them.
Okay. Making sure.
It's
okay, so
kind of a small army.
Sebastian.
so we can try to let Megatron try to take the blunt of the fight.
Megatron goes, finally, a blaze of glory. It's how I've always wanted to die since I was born about 30 minutes ago. And he unleashes all his weapons and starts unloading as the two forces trade fire. It's a blur of plasma, aether abilities, shouting. You can't really hear anything distinctive. But as it happens, most of the normal soldiers are downed, and so are 2 of the special officers. However, there are 2 others, a tall woman, and a shorter, stockier man, and then there's Rupert, of course, a thin, pale guy, left. And finally, you see, it seems they'd been preparing in the right position after, the plasma fire had weakened up Megatron enough. The sort of tall, thin guy goes, "Keratin cannon!" And you see the fingernail on his middle finger fly off and slash! And for a brief moment, you're not sure what's going to happen as that fingernail grows back. An aether tick, it seems. But then all of a sudden, Megatron, there's a giant diagonal slash through his body. And as the top half starts to slide off samurai style, he looks back at you and he goes, "Did I fulfill my purpose?"
Yes.
Finally.
Last thing you fucking heard is like,
I can't wait to go to heaven. There is heaven for me, right? That's real. And then he dies.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh shit.
And you see the 3 special officers start to edge towards you. Rupert sort of channeling this bright white aether. The stocky, shorter fellow channels a pink aether, and the taller woman sort of channels this kind of black aether as they step towards you. And the stocky one goes, well, who do we have here? A couple of intruders trying to pull one over on the Supremacy, the greatest government this universe has ever seen. Very cocky, I'll admit, but you overestimated yourselves. You overplayed your hand, and things aren't looking too good.
That's Tanhoney's third voice.
What? These are none of Tanhoney's voices.
Yeah, shirt.
So,
Well,
go ahead.
just while he's talking, and perhaps just can I get get some water from the tanks on as many of them as I can, as many of the 3 of them.
Just the water as is. You're not
Spray
using your
it
technique.
somehow. Yeah. Just for now. Hang on.
All right.
Okay.
So you're just tossing the tanks at them.
Yeah, sure. Maybe one of the tanks. Kind of hope it sprays out.
Sure. You throw the physical tanks at them, and the chubby fellow holds out 2 fingers, and as the purple aether surges around his body, and you threw the tanks hard, they're going fast, but the second, right before they hit the man's fingers, he goes redirect, and the second they touch his fingers, they shoot back with just as much force, the exact opposite direction you threw them, and they go crashing into your face, and water splashes all over you as you sort of tumble down to the ground.
What crap.
And the other lady, you see her sort of she just starts to mumble something to Rupert as the stocky fellow seems to step forward as if he can handle you 2 all on his own.
Down. Um,
Right.
um,
I do have a question. I assume not, but did they get any sort of wounds in the previous like ensuing fight or no?
There is a small scratch on Rupert's forehead. The other two look unharmed.
All right.
And you get the feeling
Well-
that scratch was because like one of their guys that got killed like fell back onto him, not like from Megatron.
All right.
uh,
Uh,
is there any? Uh, ¿Cuál was your plan, Esther? Forget.
well, I mean, I think my plan was quite obvious to you.
Yeah. I was like, is there any way we could try to run away inside the mine, further into the mine, or
You want to
something?
run past the three special officers into the mine, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, to see if we can reconnect with.
You can
Patrick and-
each, if you're both doing that, you can each make a separate feelings roll. So you need to
Okay,
roll
perfect.
over your numbers. So you need to roll over a 2, Sebastian. Aster, you would need to roll over a 4 if you're running. 4 or over.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Roll your dice. Sebastian, you got a laser feelings. That's good. All right. So somehow, while Rupert and the lady are talking, you just barely, thankfully, the pudgy one may be strong, but he's not exactly, fit. So you're able to just barely brush past him before the other two realize, and you immediately start booking it as they pursue. And they're hot on your tails. You know you can't keep up the run forever, but right now you're just pumping your arms, going as fast as you can, hoping beyond hope for something. Meanwhile, you two, Puddle and Patrick, enter the central chamber, and you see, sure enough, 3 large floating purple crystals, probably about 2 feet tall and about a foot wide at the central part where they jut out more. They look almost like Sims diamonds, but like big. And they just sort of are hovering in place between.
There
well,
they
not in-
are.
Yeah. They're like hovering inside these like mechanized tubes, sorry.
Perfect. Patrick, they will taste so good in my stomach to amplify my aether. Oh, I will be able to eat planets soon, Patrick. Come now.
Yes, but these are meant to intensify ether, amplify it. I wonder what would happen if I use my gentleman's agreement on it.
On,
You want to try and use
Patrick,
your gentleman's agreement on the crystal?
Yeah, I want to see if I can like pulse out a command like lots of people with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder. I'm gonna stop him. I'm gonna look at him and be like, Patrick, it appears that you have misunderstood our agreement. You were to help me get the crystals. You were not to use them.
Of course, I apologize.
If you want to disobey Patrick, you can get your hand on and try that before he tells you that. It's up to you.
Oh, but there will be consequences for disobeying. Although this is to be expected within our line of work, is it not?
Patrick, make your decision.
I apologize. I didn't mean to overstep my position. I go to shake your hand in apology.
And a little crackle of aether appears between my fingers as I meet your hand, and I try to soften it.
All right. This is, I'm not really sure how to roll that. How about you both roll me a d6, and whoever gets higher will win this exchange.
Okay.
Fucking you guys, I don't know, because it went too... Okay.
I rolled first.
No.
Not
Here's
on my
how we'll do it. Tan, you roll a d6 right now, Tan.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, Dune, roll a d6.
The hastiness.
No.
Oh, give me a second.
Gordo.
So you two meet as the cracker of red and yellow aether combine and form sort of this orange, like, sort of spark of energy between the two of you as you feel your powers trying to combat one another. And Patrick, you've always been the number 2. When Skipster was online, you always did what he was said. You were obedient, you kept things in line, and when Puddle took over, you didn't fight much. You've never seen yourself as much of a leader. However, in this instance, you were no longer just a sheep, but a lion, and you actually overcome Puddle, and you're able to get off your gentleman's agreement. What do you demand of him?
Gentleman's agreement. You work for me now.
Puddle,
feel
will you comply, or would you rather die?
I could feel the aether crackling through my body as Patrick's demands course through my veins. I have no option but to comply, but
No, you can not comply, but that means dying.
I think my hunger for what may potentially occur in the future is too strong for me to give up on life just yet. As I look him in the eye, and you can sense that there's hatred behind them, but I have no way to voice it.
I chuckle.
Comply.
Did you really think I'd play second fiddle to a freak like you?
How much of my can I like voice like hatred towards him?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
You just can't disobey him.
Damn it! Once I break free of your agreement in what is it, an hour? You're going to be my next meal.
And as you break off, even though you dominated Puddle, Patrick, you didn't get away completely unscathed. It's not bad, but he did melt your hand a bit. You no longer have, like the lines on a palm? They're all sort of melted and smooth now. Same with your fingerprints on that hand.
Fingerprints never did me much good anyway.
The dripping of your hand, I can sense it in the future, Patrick. You best dispose of me before this hour is up. I'm growing hungry.
I said, load the crystals.
As I approach the tubes, and I place my hand on them, and I soften the containment tubes that the crystals are inside.
Sure, you could have just pressed the open buttons, but you do that.
Or I could do that.
Oh, and before we begin, I believe I had a little thing I wanted to try out initially. I placed my hand on the crystal.
Alright, so what are you trying to do? Tell me first.
I'm trying to use this like a transmitter so you can send out an order to lots of people.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. You're gonna roll me a 3d6 feelings. If you get all 3 2 or over, it'll work. If you get only 1 or 2 successes, it'll work but at a cost. And if you fail, it's gonna be real bad. 666.
Holy shit.
What did you command?
Aid and abet in our escape.
So you put your hand to one of the crystals and you feel this immense energy inside, refracting, compounding your aether thousands of times over itself as you sort of combine your technique with an aether ping, and you feel intense energy like never before. And you feel this pulse go out for miles, probably hundreds of miles, all at least all the way over the city nearby. And skull marks appear on the hands of miners, appear on the hands of officers, appear on the hands of your friends. However, this action also shatters one of the crystals, the crystal you use, so you only have 2 left now. And for the next hour,
2/3 of fortune are just as good for me.
Everyone will bet in your escape, Patrick, for the next hour. And also, you see a second skull for this new agreement appear on your other hand, Puddle. So you now have 2 binding agreements. I'm also going to say that's the max because you can only do 1 agreement for each hand. Is that you can have people under 2 separate agreements, and that's it. Right.
Well, with that, it's time we get going. Quick as you can. I don't want you delaying on purpose.
So if who could pick up can we pick up the crystals without them?
They're big.
us?
You're strong enough, Puddle, to pick them both up, 1 under each arm, but they're a little unwieldy to carry because they're 2 feet tall and a foot wide. They're not super heavy, but they're it takes up a lot of arm space, so each one requires a whole arm.
Right, I'll do that then, and I'll trail behind Patrick.
Sure. So you all of a sudden, Aster Aster, Sebastian, and the 3 officers all see these skulls appear on your hands, and you get this. You instantly know a bet in Patrick's escape or die is sort of they get, and you hear the lady go, "Who the hell is Patrick?" And
enter as this happens.
yeah, basically, Puddle and Patrick, your group, sort of, you guys run straight into Aster, Sebastian, and the 3 special officers, and you all sort of like comically fall to the floor for a moment and get back up and analyze each other, and there's a bit of a sort of standoff vibe going on.
It's straight in my tie.
Yeah, go for it. Because, like, while your agreement protects you, Patrick, it doesn't exactly protect your friends. And there are 3 very powerful-looking special officers ready to strike.
I am Patrick, and I think I'll have you know if these 2 don't escape the planet, I'm going to sit here until the hour is up. And if I have not escaped by that time, well, you'll have broken your promise.
They sort of look between each other, and they say, I think we're strong enough to carry you onto your ship and send you off.
Really, I can be quite meddlesome. You think you can get... You don't know where my ship is? You think you can find it and get me to it within the hour?
Roll me a lasers 2d6 because you are an envoy. So you need to get a 2 or under. They go, yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue. And the thin one, Rupert, points his hand towards you, Puddle, with the crystals. Does anyone in the group react? One of you has a chance to do one action. You can decide amongst yourselves who it is before he fires his keratin cannon.
You still had the acid, right? Mangalum.
Orchid's got, Aster is like sort of drenched, but they could turn the water on their body to acid and like move it around like a waterbender if they so wish.
Is Megatron still around?
Okay, put all the acid in his injury or something.
Is Megatron still around?
No, Megatron's dead as fuck.
Dead.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he's super dead. He can go to robot.
He's dead and he will never experience an afterlife.
Damn it.
Oh.
Yeah, that
Actually, in an
acid
alternate
bender-
universe where robots get to go to heaven and heaven is canon, Jerry and Megatron are happy together in the afterlife.
Is Jerry a robot too?
No.
New OTP.
Yeah. That's my pet canon now.
Alright, so is anyone acting? I'm going to do a real-life countdown to 10.
Well,
if no one acts up, then he's firing.
Yeah.
10,
the
9,
I'm getting out of the way,
8,
I'll tell you.
Yeah, the
7.
water bend.
If no one's going to do
said,
anything,
right?
I'll just take out my mining gun and shoot him.
Okay, hold on. I heard 3 separate things. I heard a dodge, I heard a do the water bend acid, and I heard a shoot.
My shoot is a last resort. If no one else was going to do anything, I will shoot him.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just dropping to the ground.
Let me put the acid on the guy.
All right. So I will let you, because I will count it as being helped by Patrick's command. You roll me a feelings, Aster. So you get 2d6, and you need to get a 4 or higher.
No.
So you turn the water around you into acid. It like hovers around you, and you go to whip out with the acid. But right as you do, you see that chubby guy reach out his fingers again as the pink aether crackles, and he goes redirect, and the acid sort of falls down to the ground. It's still in your control, but it's not fast enough to stop keratin cannon. And a fingernail fires off and cleaves off your right shoulder and the whole arm as well. Your entire right arm is now gone, Puddle, and it and the crystal it was carrying fall to the ground. Thankfully, the crystal doesn't break, but you are now one-armed.
Do I have time for an action
Yeah.
in response to this? Okay.
In response to losing your arm, yes.
Yeah. Would you say that Aether is amplified in depending on strong emotions? Like if this happened,
well, it's based on your core. So if you had a strong sense of hunger, it would be amplified.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the sight of my own arm getting lopped off and the sight of just guts and everything and entrails is going to amplify my Aether to the point where I feel a stronger hunger than ever, and I'm going to just jump forward and attempt to take out this guy, and with my Aether and consume him.
Keratin Cannon guy.
Yeah, him, the fingernail
Alright.
man.
I'll give you an extra d6 because you're channeling your core. So 2d6 feelings. You need to get a 5 or higher. Double sixes, baby. You fucking and you bite into Rupert's neck, and like a vampire, like a JoJo vampire, he like starts to shrivel, turn to a husk, turn to goop as you slurp him up.
I slurp the entirety. Oh, you've taken my arm. Oh, I hate you, but you taste so good. I have very conflicting feelings on you now, actually.
And as you do that, the woman goes, "How dare you!" And she pulls out a blaster pistol and sort of aims it straight to your head, like from a 1 foot distance. Anyone want to react with one action?
I take out my mining gun and put it to my own head. Let's
She
not
goes,
be too hasty now.
"You killing yourself does not harm your escape. Is not me harming your
You cannot
escape."
aid my escape if escape is impossible.
Oh, can't I? I can ship your corpse off planet.
Not if I eat it first.
I'll kill myself, doesn't matter. I'll eat the body.
If you don't get us off of this planet now, this means certain doom for everyone in the surrounding area, regardless of who you are.
As you guys argue, you see the chubby man sort of sidling along the wall, and he reaches the crystal in the cut-off arm, and he puts his own hands to it, his fingers, as it glows purple, crackling energy, and he goes, "Time to try out a new kind of redirect." And you see this pulse of purple, and all the skulls on everyone's hands disappear, and they all appear all over Patrick's body, just sort of wrapping him, just covered in them.
Now, those things, when I called you a freak puddle, that was only a joke.
Patrick, you feel 1,000 whales saying, I must help myself escape. I must escape now. I must escape or I will fucking die.
Now, you see, I am still in charge here, because now I am basically strapped to 1,000 bombs. So you better let me out of here.
Drink. I turn my head like a fucking crazed animal, and I look at him, now finally free from my my binding, and I approach slowly. I don't even pay attention to the chubby guy, and I step slowly, and with blood dripping from my my locked off.
No. Listen, I was simply hungry to advance in this world. You can sympathize, I'm sure.
Aster, Sebastian, do you react at all to this? Do you try to help Patrick? Do you try to fuck off? What's going on here? Do you attack the enemies?
Wait,
Waterbender Part 2.
Alright, what do you try to waterbend?
The chubby guy like at him, so he maybe like at his hand that's holding the crystal.
Sure. Roll me a... He is distracted. I'll count Patrick and Puddle as helping you with that. I'll give you 2d6 on this. You need to roll a feelings. Actually, you know what? I'll give you a logic because you're trying to like precisely get his hand away. So laser. So roll me 4 or under 2d6. You got it. So you sort of whip the plasma around, or not the plasma, sorry, the acid around, and you see as like his wrist and hand burn, and you rip it off the crystal, and as the crystal, as his hand sort of leaves the crystal, the glow from it fades, and the skulls all reappear back on everyone as they were.
Now, when I said I apologize, that was actually a joke.
and Puddle hasn't noticed this yet, so he still has the other crystal under his arm. So he's gonna try to touch it with his free hand. And what's Patrick, what? Oh no! And he looks at his hand again and he sees the skull imprint. You bastard!
I didn't even do anything. Things just worked out for me, what can I say?
This is only going to make your meat more tender when I finally break free of your control.
You keep saying that. You keep not eating me.
The more you guys argue and toss around Aether, the cave around you starts to shake a little bit. Debris and dust sort of raining down from the ceiling.
Oh,
Okay.
no. Well, I'm holding a crystal now.
No,
So-
you rip the hand. You're not on the
Oh.
crystal.
Please.
You can make a
We need
gold.
to have at least one crystal. We have to have something.
Oh, it
Yeah, we need to
broke.
grab at least one of them.
No, the two other crystals are still good. I thought you said you were grabbing the hand and ripping it off.
No. I was like trying to
Who
get
do you
him to,
think
like,
she
drop
is?
it.
Me?
All right, well, he wasn't holding it. It was on the ground, and he was like touching it.
Oh, well, yeah, like get him to stop touching it.
Yep.
Okay.
He did so.
Yeah. Can I like try to grab it then?
You can make a grab for it. That'd be a 1d6 feelings roll, so you would need to get a 4 or higher.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you go to grab it, and as you do, you see this black aether crackle around the lady as she like opens her mouth, and like a sonic blast emerges. But you just barely duck under it as it slams into the side of the cave, and you grab the crystal. However, the cave begins to shake even more violently, and
God.
things are not looking good.
Everyone, let's get out.
All of you, we need to get out right now.
And you
I don't
see
know
the chubby man gripping the wall, and he goes, "Oh no, no one's going anywhere. I'm a special officer of the Supremacy. Failure will not be tolerated. I'd rather die than let you all get away."
Oh, will it? I say as I squat down and I proceed to liquefy this man's wrists.
Roll me a 1d6 feeling. So you need to get a 5 or higher. You go to liquefy this man's wrists, and he just goes, "You really are the dumbest motherfucker in your merry band, aren't you?" And you see him glow pink, and he goes, "Redirect," and your other wrist melts off. And so you now have 1 arm and 0 hands. And the other crystal falls to the ground.
Patrick, I hope you know how to do prosthetics.
Well, in Aetheral
Yeah.
space, there's this really nifty thing called Panacea, if you're brave
It hasn't
enough
been
for it.
discovered yet.
Oh, no! Uh-oh,
Oh,
never
no.
mind. Nope.
No.
Nope.
I kind of step back and I take off and I motion to the rest of the crew with my stump of a hand, still holding the crystal.
You're not holding the crystal. You don't have Dick fucking Bubkus to hold a crystal with.
No, you said my wrist
said-
got liquefied.
I said your wrist got liquefied and it fell to the ground. You
Oh,
gonna
the
grab at
crystal
it with
fell?
your stub arm?
Well, I'm going to make a strategic retreat. I'm running. At this point, I don't give a shit anymore.
All right, but that's not exactly abetting
All right,
Patrick's escape now, is it?
I'm also
I
running.
motion him forward.
All right, you're all just running.
Well,
I think you
well,
should
I was
run.
gonna ask if with the crystal in my hands, can I make it so that so that their blood turns to acid?
Holy shit.
the
You
special
can
officers.
try. Roll me a 2d6 feelings.
Alright.
So you need to get its feelings higher. Oh, I forgot. Feelings is 4 over. Ooh. So you send a command to try to turn their blood to acid. But you're not. The crystal's kind of bizarre. You're not quite used to it. And not only are you unable to send the command out properly, but you shatter the crystal. It breaks from the excess of aether. It seems like although it's a powerful tool, it's a very delicate one. You have to use it properly, and you're left with only 1 crystal left.
Oh,
I'm not
great
using the last
job. I am
crystal.
so
Otherwise, I am not coming out of here with a neutral value.
This is the worst job I've ever been on. Who chose you as my crew?
And as you all
Said
try to
we're
run,
your crew.
the lady goes, "Oh, you know what? Fuck this." and she
Oh,
takes
no.
out her pistol and she shoots off her hand with the skull on it. And she is no longer bound by the contract.
I run over and kick her in the head.
Okay, roll me a 1d6 feelings. You need to get a 2 or higher.
Wouldn't that apply to me too? Wouldn't I not be bound by the contract?
Oh no!
Oh, that's right!
Puddles.
Yeah.
Apparently, Puddles' intellect was too strong for him to realize that he is now no longer bound to Patrick's escape.
So you go
But
to
he does
kick
not-
this lady in the head. Sorry, let me finish Patrick's action. Patrick, you go to try to kick this lady in the head, and she just goes, "Bitch!" And she swaps. She she reinforces her body with Aether, and she whaps your leg so hard you hear a crack of like bone breaking, and you stumble over on your side.
This isn't aiding and abetting my escape.
She goes, "I don't need to work on that anymore." And you notice she doesn't explode. She is missing a hand, but...
Right, I have another gambit in mind.
Meanwhile, Puddle, you also are no longer a slave to the curse if you so wish to take advantage of this situation.
Has anyone noticed
Has anyone noticed what?
that I am no longer under Patrick's binding? Do you think it would be too chaotic for anyone to really put that together?
I would personally leave that up to the players in question. I would say that at least the special officers probably aren't thinking about it because they're too busy dealing with things their own way.
Yeah, I probably not noticed either because I'm like...
Right, Patrick. Okay. I'm not going to say anything about it for now.
All right, so you're not going to turn
I'm
on
just
Patrick.
gonna-
You're going to keep running.
I'm going to... Well, I plan to, but I'm going to smile slyly to myself and just see how this interaction between Patrick and this lady plays out, because I'm not going to assist or anything.
So just as a
I'm
heads
going-
up, the third crystal, because Orchid broke there, is still on the ground, like at the side of the cave near the special
Oh,
officers.
okay. I'm going to make a run for it then.
Yeah. You leaving behind the crystal?
No, I'm going to make a run for the crystal.
Okay. Roll me a 1d6. I'll give you 2d6 because Patrick is helping by causing a scene. 2d6 feelings, you need a... Feelings is higher. Right, you need a 5 or higher.
Okay.
You go to grab for the crystal, and with your non-hands, just like your stub arm, and the lady just shouts at you, and the force of that sonic shout thrusts, hits your torso, and you bang against the wall, and finally you hear the cave, boom, boom, the ceiling, rocks start to fall, large pieces of debris. It looks like there's about to be a cave in, boys.
Oh, what did I need for
a
that
5
to
or
succeed?
higher. Because
And I
that's
got
the
one.
number you picked. No, you rolled 2
What?
4s.
Oh,
Four is better than
okay,
five.
it worked like that. I thought an 8 would count.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I wish.
there's officially a cave-in happening. Patrick, you're on the ground. Puddle, you just got the wind knocked out of you. Sebastian, Esther, what do? Do you help your friends? Do you go for the crystal? Do you save your own hides?
Extend my hand around, pathetically, please.
You know you
Well,
could, if you're willing to
You
lose
still
a
have the
hand.
binding.
If you're willing to lose your hand, you could escape the binding. Otherwise, you do need to help Patrick.
Right.
You don't need your help of lower inferior
Okay.
beings.
No, help
okay,
me.
so how far away was
Yeah,
the last crystal you said?
Was the last what?
And the last
Crystal.
crystal, where was...
Probably about
How far away?
10 feet from you. Not that far. It's
Maybe
just
that's
pressed against the side next to the officers in Patrick.
Wait, okay, so 3 meters. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. Okay, so we could try to get it to and use it, couldn't we?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
And try to get to the try to get to the crystal and then try to use it to help us.
You could. Yeah, you could roll me a 1d6 feelings to get to it. So you need to get, what's your feelings, 2 or higher?
Yep.
Alright, so
Perfect.
you get to the crystal and put your hand on it. What are you going to do with it?
Okay, so remember that this binder must feel like lots of equipment and machinery and such, right?
What has lots of equipment and machinery?
Mine in general.
The mine in general, a decent bit, yes.
Yeah, so similar. So try to make some automatons to help us. So okay, yeah. So multiple autonomous to help us carry Patrick away, get us out, and try to hold the special officers back in us. Will it be possible?
Sure. Tell me what these automatons look like. Automatics, I mean.
Yeah, that. Vaguely humanoid, but I guess.
Yeah, so you see these sort of generic Big Six. Is that the movie name?
Big Hero 6?
Yeah, kind of like
Hero
that.
6.
Like they're not floating parts and it's not totally round, but sort of like that blank, otherwise like white or gray with like two little beady eye kind of robots. Sort of boop, 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 and they pick up your crew and start running, and the others sort of try to push the special officers away to clear the way. And you, the three of you, just barely make it out of the mine. However, real quick, I need you to roll me a 2d6 feelings again, and 1d6 feelings, sorry, and get a 2 or over, Sebastian. Okay, you did not break the crystal. So you managed to grab it. The three of you get out, and before the two special officers can follow, them and the rest of the automatics are lost behind the cave-in. You don't know if they're dead, but you've at least escaped the immediate danger.
Yeah.
And you have a crystal. One of your friends is missing an arm and his other hand. Patrick's got a broken leg. I'm sorry, what did you say, Astu?
You said the three of you and not.
Sorry, the four of you. Yes, all the crew. I didn't count Sebastian in it because I just assumed. Sorry.
Am I still laying on the floor?
No, the robots picked you all up. You're good.
Oh, they got me. All right.
Yeah.
I was surprised that.
But you're missing an arm in your other hand, and Patrick's whatever leg he kicked with left or right is broken.
So, just a lore question here. I don't know how Aether works exactly. So, would I technically still be able to use my powers even though I don't have my arms anymore?
Yes. Well, you still have one arm, but yes,
you
you can channel Aether anywhere through your body, to my knowledge.
Gotcha. Okay. I would assume after the beat down that I've taken, I'm not even in the mood to talk. I'm just like completely passed out.
Sure. The robot automatics are carrying you. Are they just taking you back to the ship?
I will say so, unless anyone has other plans.
Sure.
Where is this?
You guys start to get back to where you docked your ship. However, just before you reach it, you see it lift off of the ground a little bit. And one of the doors open, and Captain Skipster, finally awake, goes, listen, guys, it looks like there's a lot of trouble going on here, and I don't really want anything to do with it. So
check your wrists, Dick Nips.
He checks his wrist, and he goes, oh, what's this thing?
It's my ticket out of here.
What does this do?
I flew with you for 2 years. You don't know what it does?
I never really paid much attention to you. I mean, I always thought you were kind of a weasel. Not really helpful in a fight.
Can we kill him?
No.
Anyway, unless you tell me what this is, I don't really see why I should be assisting.
It's my ability. If you don't aid and abet my escape, you will blow up.
Oh. And, this mark is what enforces that, huh?
I'm sorry. I'm like, my face drops. Yes.
Well, you see, I've heard prosthetics these days are pretty good. And,
Shoot him in the leg. I say to one of my buddies.
Do one of you shoot him in the leg? I don't know if you have... I think you used all the guns on the robot. I think the only
I have my mining pistol.
You have the mining pistol, and Aster has the acid whip. If one of you...
Fine, I'll whip out my mining pistol, let him fire it at his fucking leg.
Sure, you try to shoot the little mining beam at the leg. It's a farther distance than the shot can usually go, but I'll let you try a 1d6
I'll infuse it with Aether then.
Okay, I'll let you try a 1d6 feelings. 1d6, you need to get 2 or higher. Alright, you... the leg, and it sort of burns his knee, and he goes, ah, shit, and he starts to trip and fall. He goes, oh, and he barely catches onto the ledge, and he's like hanging off the ship that's already starting to lift because it's on autopilot, and he's like, Oh, this is quite a predicament. And he's trying to pull himself back on.
I turn to one of the others. Toss me. Smeg.
Sebastian, can't your robots do that?
Sebastian?
They somewhat do that. And
Wait.
if I don't escape, everyone on the planet is gonna blow up, and I don't need that on my conscience.
Unintentional genocide.
You have a conscience?
Well, isn't the rule that they have to abet you? So, like, as long as they're trying.
Well, if Aiden abets, if I haven't escaped,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay, can the robots throw all of us into the ship?
You tell me.
Okay, yeah, let's try it.
Roll 2d6 feelings. You need to get a 2 or higher.
I don't want to accidentally cause one of the greatest national disasters in the history of the supremacy.
Alright, so the robot does toss you, and you just barely land at the lip of the door on your side, Patrick. And as you do, your skipster goes, "Oh shit!" and he falls off. It's not high enough in the air that he's dead, but he's definitely, like, not getting up. He's, like, hurt bad. He broke his legs. But you are with a broken leg on the ship, barely. You're, like, your back is basically, like, facing the open door out.
Yeah. I said the robots throw all into, not just Patrick.
You want to have the rest of them try to throw all of you in?
Well, I'm going to rush over and try and, like, turn off the autopilot and go back for the rest of them.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure,
okay,
you do
that's
so.
better.
You don't have to roll for that. And you're able to get down and pick up your friends.
I was interrupting him.
Before I'm picked up and go
Can I
onto the
take the
ship,
captain with me?
I was gonna try to go get the captain for
You
my
can get
personal.
him, he goes, "Oh shit, I think I broke my legs, guys. Oh, this hurts a lot. Man, but that's why I love that Patrick guy. He's got a lot of chutzpah when he's pressed against the wall."
And I kind of like squirm over, and I'm stumbling, just blood's everywhere.
This is just
And I look
villainous
over,
skipper.
I look over the captain, and I'm like, "I've always wanted to eat you."
He goes, "I don't really like the sound of that."
And I kind of
Can I
like,
just-
unless I'm going to be interfered with here, I'm going to try to prepare to
Yes,
liquefy.
I would like to interfere and just get the captain on the ship before
If you-
Puddle gets.
If you try to liquefy him, are you sure you want to try that?
I'm going to try, but I'd like for it to fail.
Okay, so you want to intentionally fail.
Yes.
Okay, then Aster is able to get them to the ship, and you're lucky for it because you did not want to fight the captain. He's a tough customer.
Damn it, scientist. I'm so hungry, but I'm also so inebriated.
You see,
Oh,
you see the robots that helped save you from the mines, and they look awfully tasty.
Oh, how plump these robots. Yes. And I approach them, and I kind of like slump against one of them, and I just kind of like sink my teeth into the side, just liquefying this one robot, just eating the metal.
He goes, "I hope that the nutrition I offer can satisfy you. I'm rich in iron."
Oh, you taste like pennies of the best kind.
It's like
Freshly
licking a battery.
minted. It's like licking a big, soft, squishy battery in my mouth.
Yeah, you eat them. Delicious, I guess. And you all get on the ship, and you barely make your escape with one Aether crystal. The Supremacy knows your faces. You're in trouble. You only got away with one crystal. You can just barely break even with the tiniest of profits after, assuming you get prosthetics for your friend, refuel the ship, replace your armory. You would make maybe a small profit, but you did get away with an Aether crystal. And of course, you don't have to sell it if you're willing to forego a lot of those stuff if you just want to have an Aether crystal, but you guys do make your escape.
Hey, I guess.
How is Patrick going to deal with me now that I'm no longer under his binding? I'm assuming once I'm on the ship, I kind of collapse onto a bed.
That's up to you guys. I'm gonna give you
Listen.
a quick time for an epilogue. I'm gonna say about a day passes. You're off the planet. You're relatively safe. Skip's just piloting the ship. What do you all have to say to each other? What do you all do?
So, some things might have been said. However, let's look at the facts. We got off the planet without him. We got off the planet we got a big crystal that we can sell for lots of cash, and no one died. None of us died. I'd
Patrick,
say yes.
Unfortunately.
I
Puddle,
will
my friend.
spare you under. Oh, my bloodlust has dissipated. Patrick, I will spare you under the pretense that you will give me a prosthetics to.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, this will be joyous. And of course, the crystal. What about this? What are we doing with it now?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't have a plan? There's nothing stopping me from just going and devouring the crystal right here and now?
Well,
Nope.
what we're going to do is we're going to find a buyer for it and sell it to them. I do not know yet who that is, but that's our next step.
Skipster
So
does
eat
say
it.
he thinks he knows
If you
a
eat it, the whole
buyer.
thing will be pointless.
Skipster does mention this morning earlier. He mentioned he might have found a buyer at the UAP. Actually,
Well,
no.
there you go.
Sorry, in the final church.
Well, there you go.
It's more menacing.
Well, since my cannibalistic bloodlust has dissipated, I suppose I can sit tightly and ignore my more selfish desires for now. But of course, Patrick, I will be asking of you a larger percentage of the profits than usual. I did suffer quite catastrophic losses during this engagement.
You guessed
Lost.
that after recuperating all losses, you can, at most, after paying all the stuff you lost back, 10,000 credits.
Is that a lot or a little?
Of
Tan,
course, my friend. I'll make sure you get exactly what you deserve.
how much is 10,000 credits, Tan?
I'd say it's a pretty good amount.
Transportation.
Is it like $10,000?
Yeah. I mean, it's not fantastic, but
It's money. I mean, you did it in a day, technically.
yes, we almost died. One of us lost a hand.
I lost my shoulder.
One of you lost an entire arm and then also the hand on the other arm.
Yeah.
That's like more than Skipper. He suffered more than Skipper.
Okay,
Then
Patrick,
there's two characters who suffered more. I'll wait.
I'd just like to make one thing clear. I still am second in command of this ship. In fair respects to our captain, the skipper.
Skipster yells, "No, you're not. That's definitely Patrick. No, he's a conniving, shitty weasel, but he's definitely way more useful as a second command than you."
Oh, how I wish I had both of my arms right now.
I wish you'd try it, buddy.
Whatever. I say as I knock all of the I knock all of something off of a table that's nearby, and I with my stump of an arm, and I pissed off. I'm pissed off, and I just go. I leave.
Sure,
I'm done.
You knock off the surviving little scout robot that Sebastian made earlier. It goes, ah! It falls to the ground and smashes.
Oh, I don't do that.
My thirst has been quenched. My hunger has
Hey.
been completely snuffed out. I am no longer a motivated man.
Sebastian and Aster, what do you do in this little epilogue? Anything to add?
Well, considering that we have only
Sebastian, we should
survived
probably-
thanks to my health, I will say that I should have a much greater cut than usual from the what we obtained after selling the crystal.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
That considering that we have only survived thanks to my health, I will ask for a much greater cut than usual.
Okay. And then what about you, Aster?
I guess Aster's had enough. She's gonna find a way to get to be part of a different crew by this point.
Join a nice take that small profit and start a business in the Great Chain. You don't need this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
but-
the gay chain.
Disaster. The only intelligent human being in the crew.
All right. Well, I think with that, we will end the session. And based on the events that happened, I have to ask Tan, will this be able to fit into the Aetheral space canon?
There are some bits that I don't know whether the whole like supremacy UAP final church thing would have been in place like so soon after the revolution, but bits of this would make it in like the Great Chain, some other stuff like Maybe this is a story you heard in a bar in Aetheral space times.
Yeah. They call it... Yeah, like rumors of an aether crystal existing somewhere in
Yeah.
the final church.
Maybe it's like a novel in the Aetheral space universe.
Wonderful. Yeah, this is what
It's like
every
the National
this is what
Treasure
every
series.
spacer reads, and they think they're going to be this, but they're just like drug dealers.
Did
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for playing. I hope you enjoyed. I know this was a haphazard session because it was a one-page RPG and we made it like on the spot, but I thought it was relatively fun. I had a good time.
I had a
it
good
was
time.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really aethered those space.
Oh, those spaces do be aethering.
You telling me a space aether this, Rice?
Bruh.
No, I liked it. I really do hope that Puddle made enough of an impression on Tan's mind to canonize him.
Well, the problem
Yeah,
with
sure.
Puddle is there's already a character that is basically Puddle.
This is great-great-grandfather.
Yes! OMG,
Can't
it's a
have two
line!
cannibals. You can't
Puddle-
have two cannibals.
Puddle reincarnated? What's his name in the Aetheral Space, Tan? What's the character again?
Anjuan, it was?
Anjuan. Yeah, but didn't he have like a nickname? Like a bounty hunter nickname?
I don't think so. That was just his name.
Yeah. Anjuan.
It was Anjuan the Cannibal. It was very
That's what it was,
descriptive.
the cannibal.
Oh.
Delicious. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'll try and get this uploaded. I'm actually gonna... I don't want to make Anomalous edit this, but I hope there's nothing that needs to be edited out. I don't know. I doubt it. I think it
Yeah, let's hope
should
not.
be good to go. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Bye.